welcome to Cooking Live. I'm Sarah Moulton, Executive Chef of Gourmet Magazine. Our guest this evening left the corporate publishing world to follow his dream of opening up a restaurant, which is usually a disaster. But in his case, 7 years later, the self-taught chef has transformed a sleepy Greek coffee shop in the Hamptons into a destination restaurant. Let's welcome Colin Ambrose.
Hi.
Oh, nice to have you. How do you pronounce it?
However you want, as long as you say the word.
And
it's Estia.
Is Estia an old girlfriend?
Estia is the Greek goddess of hospitality.
Oh, perfect. You left the corporate world to open up a restaurant. I mean, everybody thinks they want to open up a restaurant, but most people, once they do, it's a disaster. They run out of money, they don't know how to cook, they don't know how to organize the kitchen, they don't know how to do the float. How did you do this?
I had the opportunity of studying restaurateurs for 6 years while I was in the publishing industry. I published a magazine called Top Shelf with a group, and it was my job to introduce restaurant concepts to the corporate community.
You now have not only two beautiful restaurants, but two beautiful gardens.
Right.
And what do you grow in those gardens? I think we're surrounded by quite a lot of it. You don't have to be specific, but just generally.
We've segmented the two gardens specifically for two different purposes. The garden in Amagansett is much larger, and I don't own it. So it is a garden that is primarily annuals, it's greens and roots.
Oh, I think we have a picture. Let's see if we can get that. That's the proud guy. Is that Amagansett?
That is in the Amagansett garden. It's about an acre in size. I believe in serving the freshest food available. My grandfather had a beautiful garden in Wisconsin. As a kid, I grew up going to the garden with a salt bowl and hanging out.
You won't call yourself a gardener.
Not yet, in time.
We should probably get started.
Just to begin the process is pull the greens that we want to work with, and in order to get this to work quite well, we want greens that are going to have something in the way of a stem. So I'm using baby Swiss chard, Siberian kale, which is it's a Russian kale. It's nice and thick. It's hearty, and it has a lot of crunch to it, which I think is a nice balance with the smoked salmon. And then there's a little bit of baby spinach. So what we're going to do is we're going to toss these in a light vinaigrette with lemon and olive oil.
Just come down and do it. All right.
But basically what we want to do is make the lightest, simplest vinaigrette.
No particular proportions?
No, not with the vinaigrette, because, I mean, yes, certainly it's the standard vinaigrette proportions, 2/3 olive oil, 1/3 lemon juice, or the acid. And we're going to mix it a little bit with a fork.
We've got whiskers if you want, or whatever.
This will work just fine.
These are so
And then we're just going to roll these greens very quickly in the vinaigrette, and then let them sit. Let them sit. We just want them to hold on to a little bit of the vinaigrette. We have some chives that we're going to quickly blanch in the boiling water. All we're trying to do here is soften these chives so that they're going to be able to act as almost like a string. Okay. We're going to lay the string or the chives
lay that string
down.
That green string.
And if you are lucky enough to have your own garden and you have access to chives, or maybe you have a little planter out in the back with chives in it, you want to grab the chives that are a little bit thicker for this. It works quite well. And simply lay out the smoked salmon over the chives. Then we're going to take our greens and we're going to lay them out. These are a little bit big, but I really wanted to show you that
with the stems.
You want the stems so that you have something to grab onto. Then we're going to take the smoked salmon and simply roll the salmon, tie off.
So pretty yet so simple.
And the lemon plays very nicely against the smoked salmon.
Where do you get your smoked salmon from?
I like Homarus. Homarus is in Mount Kisco, New York, so it's not very far.
H-O-M-A-R-U-S, and I know they have an 800 number.
And they have beautiful salmon. They also have other smoked products that are really worth trying. And the nice thing about smoked salmon is it can sit in your refrigerator for a little while, and you can just keep going back to it, and we sell a lot.
How do you eat these little guys? You just pick them up?
You can pick them up. You know, I mean, certainly this is a nice thing because you can set it up ahead of time, put it in the refrigerator for 2 or 3 hours.
Do you eat it this way or this way?
You can eat it with a fork and a knife, or you can eat it with your fingers as an appetizer.
I'm just going to eat it straight up.
I think you should.
I'm hungry.
This turns into this in 36 hours.
Oh, you're kidding.
So
why didn't that happen to me?
they grow immediately, if not faster.
Wow. So do these take over your garden?
They have a tendency to continue to grow after they get to this. And really, we want to have several different methods to employ the squash in the kitchen. So for breakfast, I go for the larger ones.
Those big guys.
And we cut them into these small pieces like this. And we're going to saute them.
I'll get it right back on the burner. It just gets hot sometimes.
Okay.
Waiting.
I'm going to saute them with a little bit of sunflower oil. Leeks.
Also from your garden.
Also from the garden. Leeks are...
Should I be giving amounts, or is this sort of like just put in what you want sort of recipe?
That's exactly what it
Okay.
is. And you know what? If you don't like leeks and you prefer something like a shallot, I just recommend some kind of aromatic. Little onion would work fine. You could even use garlic if you're a garlic fan. We have a lot of customers who are requesting garlic in their eggs these days.
Because it's healthy?
It's healthy, and they're the egg white contingent, and they want to add flavor to those egg whites.
Yeah, because those egg whites are sort of boring.
A little bit, yeah. Okay, now we're going to whisk those together.
And thanks for calling. While we're talking, though, this is 4 and not very much, a little bit of half and half. And
about
then,
a quarter cup.
Does the ricotta and Parmesan go in here?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, I'll just stop where I am.
We're going to do this.
It's just we're running out of time a little bit. Okay, there we go.
There we go.
I had another question about garlic, actually. My uncle grows it. He knows what he's doing. But when you harvest it, what do you do with it? Do you need to dry it, or do you have it right away, or what's the deal?
You can certainly have it right away, but the nice thing about garlic is that you can dry it, and you can put it up for the winter. So you want to get it into, like for instance, if you have rafters in your garage, you want to hang it in the rafters. And you want to set it up so that it gets nice and dry, and you want to put it into a container that will keep the humidity down for the winter, and go to that source all winter long when you need your garlic. As long as you don't mind peeling garlic, you should grow garlic. It's so beautiful in the garden. It really is so beautiful.
Well, I love working with the fresh garlic my uncle harvests. I mean, I just, he's trying to dry it, and I just keep grabbing it and using it because it's just so wonderful.
Okay, so we've added potato, tomato,
and that was
squash,
obviously pre-cooked, blanched and cubed.
That's right.
It wasn't raw.
No,
I was just
we aren't going to have time to cook it.
That was just a quarter cup of half and half, right?
That was a quarter cup of half and half, 4 eggs. The potatoes are going to help to tighten it up. And then, before we go into the broiler with this, we're just going to give it a little bit of ricotta cheese.
Are we ready to go in the broiler?
We are ready
I'm going
to
to pop it in then before we go to break.
Okay.
Here. This just looks so beautiful, and the colors are fabulous. Okay, I think we're going in the top oven. I may not be able to get the handle in, but that's okay.
That'll work
there we
just
go.
fine.
Great. Okay,
when it starts to look like the way you like your pizza, it's just about ready.
Okay.
And I think we're just about there now. You want it to be brown.
Oh, that looks beautiful.
And we're just going to, and I also want to add that it's real important to use a nonstick pan because you don't want to mess with this. You see how easy that is to move around?
By the way, I have a flash from the field. Did you know that beer is also good on slugs?
Yeah, you can take one of those soda bottles, the plastic soda bottles, and cut the top off and flip it over. Fill it with beer on the bottom, and they work their way right down the top into it.
Terrific.
So what we're going to do to finish this off real quickly...
You can just put that right on top of the
that's
A+ in visuals already, but I know it only gets better.
We're going to take a little bit of basil and do a quick chiffonade with the basil, and we're just going to give it a little green. Now, again, this frittata is one of 7 million.
Yeah.
You can use tomatoes, you can use zucchini, you can use a lot of herb in it, or you can garnish the herb on top. I like to garnish the herb. The basil is so nice and green.
Ooh.
So that's where we are there. I'd also consider putting a garnish on the plate of some of the mesclun around the outside, but it looks very nice and simple like that. And this is something that you can do a half an hour ahead of time.
Really?
And you can serve it cold.